one video a day, every day for 30 days, 10,000 steps a day, every day for 10 months. We're doing it. If you are one of my followers on Instagram as well as YouTube, you see these updates in the morning pretty usually as I'm out here getting the first part of my 10,000 steps in every day, just taking a nice walk, seeing the city. I figured it's been 10 months of this now. I did a 30-day challenge where I did 10,000 steps a day every day for 30 days in March of 2020, just as quarantine was hitting, which was a pretty interesting time to do that challenge. And if you haven't seen that video, I will explain it way better in that, so check it out. I'll bloop it up here and then come back here. But after that challenge, that one meant so much to me that I decided to just keep on going. And I want to do an entire year of 10,000 steps a day every day. That's the macro challenge that I'm currently putting myself on. But along the way, I figure I better give you guys a quick update because it is getting cold in Pittsburgh, and who knows if I'm going to be able to do this every day for the next 2 months. We only got 2 months to go. But in the notebook in my mind, I briefly jotted down some key takeaways. So here's like the top takeaways from a fitness perspective. Then we'll get into the top takeaways from a mental perspective, because both elements are very key when it comes to walking. Takeaway 1, walking is great for the gains. Yes, I have gotten perhaps the strongest and fittest that I've been in my life while doing more walking. I used to be a much bigger fan of high intensity interval training and doing plyometric movements like burpees. But once I dropped a lot of this other cardio exercise for more walking, I was able to get a lot stronger in the gym, put on more muscle mass, and ultimately burn more calories over time. And not that the main goal is burning calories, but having an efficient metabolism, having a body with a lot of muscle on it is a huge advantage in this world. And specifically walking is great for strength training because it's very low impact and it causes very little muscle damage, so it doesn't prevent you from recovering before your next workout. You can always show up ready to go, whereas when you run, that does cause muscle damage. You're banging your joints, you're banging off the ground, it's high impact. It really delays that recovery. And not to mention, light and mobile use of your muscles is actually good from a recovery perspective, which kind of brings me to the next point, mobility. So for those of you that know me as a trainer, I'm a huge proponent of mobility. I do a lot of mobility routines. I even held local mobility routines in Pittsburgh for a couple months in the summer there. Throughout my life, I've noticed how different exercises impact mobility. They impact my performance in things like yoga. They make my muscles tighter. Walking always makes me feel even more mobile. Perhaps an object in motion tends to stay in motion, so they say. And I just noticed that the more I walk, the more capable I am to do other things. Instead of impeding the action in the rest of my life, it actually enhances it. But it seems like as you get older, the importance of adopting a daily movement routine become much, much more pronounced. I'm in the same kind of neighborhood here in Pittsburgh, and I see the same people all the time, and the people that are out there walking are just healthy people. And I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but it seems like continuing that movement, keeping yourself mobile, really means a lot as we age. And just to speak personally, my grandparents are some of the healthiest older people that I know, and they are huge proponents of walking. My grandma goes for a walk every day, and here I am following in her footsteps, literally. Consistent energy out. So what weight fluctuations boil down to is a simple law: energy in versus energy out. First law of thermodynamics: energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So it's all about this balance. How much energy is coming in, how much energy is going out. Energy in, that is what we consume. That is calories in, that is food. So if you're monitoring what you're eating in any way, it also makes sense to monitor how you're moving. There's a few ways that the human body burns calories. It's through, obviously, basal metabolic rate. That's just keeping your body alive. That burns most of the calories. Then there's the thermic effect of food, which is pretty minor, the calories you burn digesting your food. Then there's exercise, which can be some calories, but what is even more than exercise is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And a huge way to monitor NEAT is to monitor steps. Now, if you are walking solely for exercise, you could argue that that's no longer NEAT, but whatever. I don't want to get into an argument of terms today, but I do want to express the fact that I've done a lot of different forms of cardio and exercise in my life, and I've never had such a grip on my own energy balance as when I'm just consistently hitting 10,000 steps a day. Because this gives me a baseline for my energy output. When I change what I'm eating, when I change the energy input, the impacts are really pronounced and obvious. Because when you're changing what's coming in without keeping a close eye on what's going out, you don't really know if the modifications that you're making to the input are having all of the effects, or maybe you're changing the output as well. But when you really get a grip on the output, changing the calories in by just a couple hundred a day can really make lasting results. And this just comes down down to monitoring things. So monitoring the output really amplified monitoring the input. And I'll just add that I probably got down to one of the leanest body compositions in my life while not running at all. I was just walking and monitoring that food intake. You get a really good grip on that balance. And while we're talking about weight fluctuations, energy balance, and cardio, I'll also say that knowing that I'm gonna walk every day prevents me from overdoing it. Maybe after a late night, you drank too much, you ate too much, you slept too little, you feel a little bit guilty about it. Be very likely to just get out there and put yourself on some sort of crazy epic run where you just want to burn as many calories as possible because you're full of guilt. Whereas if you know that your form of energy out is walking, it leaves little room for you to be super hard on yourself. Just get out there, put one foot in front of the other, and walk. And it's not like you need to walk further than you usually do. If you just keep hitting that 10,000 steps a day every day, you know that you can put yourself in a slight calorie deficit by eating a little less. You're slowly going to get back to where you were and undo any negative consequences of any crazy off-program events that have gone on in your life. It just comes down to consistency, and this has been super helpful with my own consistency, and I'm sure it can be helpful with yours. All right, changing directions again. We're getting into a bit of a crossover here. So this is a fitness and a mental takeaway. I'm becoming more actionable. I track my daily steps on a FitBit Versa. Hitting 10,000 a day every day doesn't just mean hitting them from these walks. You know, it's not just a big morning and a big evening walk. Every step that you take throughout the day counts towards your 10,000 steps. So what that means is all day you have these opportunities to get more steps in, whether that means walking the dog, folding the laundry, taking out the trash, helping your neighbors, scraping off some cars. All movement that you do is energy output. And measuring it through steps has turned me into more of a person who's likely to get up and say, yes. I'm more into activities that get me up and away from my desk because I do have a bad habit of sitting and working for way too long. But when I know that I got these 10,000 steps to get every day, I'm just more likely to get up and move. And on days when the weather's been horrible, I've gotten 10,000 steps in without hardly leaving my house, just from doing activities. So you can just move more. You can just be more actionable, you know, achieve your body composition goals just by moseying around. So the next takeaway is a mental one, which is routine space. Every day there is an opportunity for me to create some mental and physical space. Physical space away from my desk and mental space away from my tasks. So every day getting 10,000 steps in means that I do try to go for a walk, and when I'm walking, it's just me. It's an opportunity for me time, if you will. And I think it's easy for people to neglect this me time, but knowing that I'm gonna go on a walk means knowing that I have an opportunity to call up an old friend. I have an opportunity to listen to that book or that podcast or that song. I have an opportunity to just breathe, to just focus, to just look at the world around me. Throughout these past 10 months, I've walked in a bunch of different areas. I've seen a lot of things that I've never seen before. I've realized the beauty that exists in my own backyard. I've found some trails. I've walked this skyline every day and seen hundreds of different sunrises. And although it is adding more to my days, you know, every day this is a task on my list. It seems like it'd be a stressful thing. It does take time. I just feel less stressed overall than I did last year at this time. And I'm actually out here doing more, so it's weird. Speaking of stress, this is another mental and physical crossover, but walking, it gets you outside. I started the 10,000 steps a day challenge in March. And that's right when the world decided to shut down. We were all inside staring at our computers and our phones all day. It got crazy. We got cabin fever. We were freaking out. But I think just getting outside, having sunlight on your body, breathing in fresh, albeit compromised by the city, breathing in fresh air for once is really good to get into your daily routine. And I know there's a lot of science to back this up, but I'm not on a walk. I'm not going to break out scientific papers, but you and I both know it. Getting outside is good for you. This is the environment that we evolved in. Sometimes even battling the rain, battling the snow, battling the cold is good for us. It builds character, it builds resilience, it builds grit. Walking in the pouring rain, walking in the hail, it's what I endure, and I can do it anywhere. So whether that means I'm visiting my parents, visiting a friend, no matter where I am, I can get up and walk in the immediate environment, get outside, get to know the place, get to know myself, get deep, whatever, go outside. And this brings me to the final takeaway, which if you have followed me on Instagram for any period of time, you've seen me post almost every morning a shot of my feet walking with the text "one step at a time" over it, which has pretty much become my mantra lately. I just need to focus on this day that I'm living right now, this walk that I'm taking right now. And yes, they are all a part of a larger journey and a larger mission, a larger vision of what I would consider a successful life. But all of that vision all exists in the future. Everything everything that's already happened to me exists in the past, and the only places that the future and the past really exist are in my mind. The only thing that is really real is what you are doing right now. The step that you are currently taking is literally the only step that is actually real. There is a time and a place to use your mind to elaborate on these past events and future situations. Now I gotta cross the road here. But getting out of the there and then and getting into the here and now has been like the biggest impact that walking has had on me, just from saying one step at a time every day. And that message doesn't just resonate with me. I'm not just out here finding too much meaning in the mundane again. I said that I post this on Instagram nearly every morning. This is probably the most replied to Instagram post I get. You would be amazed how many people respond to my one step at a time post and just say that, you know, this is something that they needed to hear today. And yeah, I'm out here posting tutorials on mobility, tips on fitness, nutrition, all of this science, but for some reason just saying one step at a time, focus on what's here now, has been more impactful than a lot of the research and science and certifications that I've got. So that's the message. And I'm off that main drag, starting to run into other humans out here. People are like, what's this dude doing talking to his phone? So that's a wrap for today. And if you are keeping track, yes, I have not walked 10,000 steps a day every day for 10 months yet. There's a couple more days of December, so just cut me a break there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get to 10,000 steps a day every day for a year, and I'll make a more elaborate video about it. But for now, I'm just focusing on one video a day, every day for 30 days. That's the task at hand. That's the step that I'm on. Let me know if you have video topic ideas that you'd like me to get to. Today's topic idea did come from somebody in the YouTube comments, but I'm out here with just my phone and I'm not going to find it right now. So whoever you were, thank you for the suggestion. Suggest other topic ideas in the comments, and we will see you in the next one. One step at a time, people.